What's going on, YouTube peeps and breadfruit freaks? You're watching Back to Basics, and I'm James Arnold Y Guy, your Monday vlogger. So this week, to keep with the back to school theme, we're actually talking about, or the question is, if we were creating a weight loss surgery school, what would some of the courses be called? I had a little tough time trying to figure this one out, but as I thought about myself, my journey, and my struggles, things like that, I kind of came up with a few things. Nothing catchy, but to me, one of the courses that I think would be required, I'm going to call it, it's something that I always say on Facebook, and that's Do Work, Son 101. And it's not something I came up with. It's from a show that used to be on MTV. And what I mean by do work, son, is this would be something that would talk about the importance of working out, being active in this journey. It's not enough to just have the surgery and expect the weight to come off. While early on in the journey, I think it's okay to think that, and I know for me and many other people, when you first start this journey, the weight just, without having to do a whole lot, just starts coming off like crazy. And not for everybody, but for a lot of people, the weight will start coming off without us really having to do a whole lot physically. But you will get to a point, and it's kind of where I'm at now in my journey, just over a year out, where every pound that I lose, I gotta do work to lose that weight. I've got to bust ass like constantly to lose weight. I weigh every day, multiple times a day. I know on the days that I work out and the days that I don't work out, I see that scale move. I know that if I don't bust ass constantly, this weight will not drop. Not only will it not drop, but it'll actually come back. And it is tough right now for me. As I look back on the early part of my post-op days, I can't believe, like, without having to do a whole lot, without having to do anything really, the weight was just dropping. Now, I really gotta include some kind of physical activity, cardio, weight training, things like that, in order to continue losing the weight. And it's tough because it gets pretty frustrating for me, because there are times weeks where I bust ass all week and I'm expecting numbers that maybe I saw in pre-op days, or I'm sorry, I'm expecting numbers that I saw early in my post-op days, but that's not happening anymore. So this is something, and I'm realizing this is something, having some kind of physical activity in my life is actually something that I'm going to have to do for the rest of my life if I want to continue to lose weight. And if I ever get to a maintenance point, and some of you people who are at that point where you're living in maintenance, chime in. I think even you guys at that point, people who are in maintenance, I don't think you're just sitting around enjoying life, doing nothing, not having any kind of physical activity. I'm willing to bet that even in maintenance, that you have to include some kind of physical activity in your daily routine, in your life, if you want to continue to stay in maintenance and not gain the weight back. You correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think people realize sometimes that when we make a decision to go down this road and have weight loss surgery, that there are certain things we have to commit to. Being physically active, having some kind of physical activity in our lives, is something that we're going to have to do for the rest of our lives, whether it's to continue to drop the weight or to live in maintenance. I don't think many people understand that, and so I think that's one thing that is important, that pre-oppers are made aware of. Look, this is, be ready. I mean, you know you're going to have to get in some kind of activity, but I know for me, when I first started this journey, I knew I'd have to work out and you know, stuff like that. I didn't realize that this is actually going to be something that I'm going to have to do for the rest of my life, something I'm going to have to include in my life for the rest of my life. So that's one course that I think people would have to take, or it would be highly recommended that you take, so you understand what you're really committing to. Another course for me, I called it Grounded 101, and I don't mean you're in trouble grounded. I mean just staying grounded. I think sometimes in this journey we get caught up, and I'm guilty of it. We get caught up in the community, everything going around us, that we tend to lose sight of ourselves sometimes. We come up with these personas that I think tend to kind of become bigger than they really are. And we lose sight that when it's all said and done, we're still going to be the same. I'm still going to be James, right? While James exists, so does James RNY guy. And sometimes we could get caught up in that. I think some people get caught up in becoming a celebrity of sort, and not that they set out for that to happen, or that they say, I want to be a celebrity in this community. But I think we, and I'm guilty of it, we put people up on a pedestal sometimes and think, oh wow, that's so and so, or that's so and so, and I think it can kind of get to people sometimes. And I think it's important that we realize that no matter what happens on this journey, that no matter how many subscribers we get, no matter how many friends on Facebook we get, whatever, we're always going to be who we are. I'm always going to be James. I might handle things differently. While you do transform and become a different person to a degree, we're still us. We're still ourselves. And I think sometimes people can get kind of caught up in this process of becoming James RNY guy, or whoever the name is, whoever the person is, and we kind of lose sight sometimes of who we really are, and you know, I'll just speak from experience, that I know I'm guilty of that myself sometimes. At times I've been guilty of that. But I'm learning at the end of the day, while the community is helpful and while I love it, at the end of the day, if all that went away, I would still be me. The people in my personal life, and the things that I do in my personal life would still be there, and those are still things that I would still enjoy doing, and so I just think it's important that we don't get too caught up in this journey, in this community, and kind of lose sight of who we are. But I think it's important to keep sight of who we are and not lose that. And when you do, and I have, to recognize that and kind of come back and kind of regroup and remember, look, I'm not this character. I'm me. I'm not 3,000 subscribers. I'm me. I'm not 500 friends on Facebook. I'm me. Stay grounded. I think that's very, very important, at least from my experience, to always stay grounded. So anyway, the last one, I called it Mental Game 101. And I talked about this many times. Many of you have dealt with it, and if you haven't, you will. I think for me, the hardest part of this journey is the mental part of this journey. I don't think surgeons, the industry, really does enough to prepare people for the mental part of this journey. I don't even know that it's possible to really prepare for what you're about to go through or what you're gonna encounter. I know early on I thought that I was ready and mentally in a position where, you know, I'm strong and then I can handle everything that I was going to face, but oh my word, I had no idea what this journey was going to do to me. And while many doctors require you take a Psyche eval, you know, as one of your pre-op requirements, that really does nothing. That Psyche eval, it really is useless. It doesn't prepare you at all for anything you're going to face on this journey. So I don't think that is addressed enough in the pre-op stage, and I think that's, you know, I was watching football on TV, and they were talking about these rookies, and if you know anything about the NFL, you'll know that in the NFL, when rookies come into the league, into the NFL, they have courses and classes just for the rookies, just to prepare them mentally for what it's going to be like. You take a kid who maybe, you know, grew up poor and make it to the NFL, and now all of a sudden they have millions and millions of dollars. That can be a little, like, what, you know, mentally for them, it could get a lot of people in trouble. So the NFL will put on classes just for rookies, just to prepare them for what life in the NFL is going to be like, how to handle all that money and all the fame, and, you know, all the people who are going to want to be around them now. And that just kind of reminded me of this journey. I think when you start this journey, I think everyone should be required to take a course similar to that, to let you know, look, these are things that you're going to deal with. These are things you're going to face. And I think that would, while it wouldn't eliminate all the problems, I think it would help prepare a lot of us, for a lot of people, for that when it hits. So that's my take. I hope it made some kind of sense. A little longer than I wanted to take here, and I apologize for that. I will see you guys next week. Until then, you guys take care.